Hey everybody, Freddy here with another video. This time we're going to be talking about NDI, or Network Device Interface, which really means nothing to a lot of us. We're going to be talking about what NDI is as far as transferring video over IP. We're going to be defining what it is. We're going to go really deep into it. We're going to be looking at packet traces and how it works. And then we're going to get into Azure Cloud, and we're going to see how we can make it work on Azure Cloud. We're going to be talking about different use cases and how you can use NDI. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Let's get to it. All right, so let's talk about what NDI is very quickly. And I'm not going to go into too many details. NDI is Network Device Interface. It's a technology that was developed by a company called Newtek. And they defined the protocol to be able to be used for streaming, broadcasting, in other words, sending video across the network. So an analogy that I like is if you have a house with multiple rooms and you want to put one speaker in every room, you want to take your phone and you want to be able to send music to those speakers. You don't want to run wires to the speakers. You can use technology like Bluetooth, for example, which most of us maybe are familiar with. And what Bluetooth does is it allows you to send that audio to those speakers as long as the speakers are connected to your phone. And you pretty much can send the audio to those speakers. NDI is relatively the same way, where you have cameras in different locations and the cameras are sending video, and you can take those sources and you can bring them and combine them into one central location. Another example would be a drone, for example, a drone that you have that has a control, and you can send the drone up. It has a camera. The camera is taking video and you're able to see the video on the control base. That video most of the time is being sent using NDI, which is Network Device Interface, which again, it allows you to send low latency, error. It has error correction, so it's a lot of details that goes into this NDI interface, but you're able to send a video. In most cases, you're able to take a laptop and you install a plugin and you're able to send a PowerPoint presentation that then you can pick up and then you can use. If you're doing let's say you're doing a video like myself, and I want to take an input from another camera, I can use NDI to be able to bring that in, and I'm able to show it to you as well. So NDI has a lot of different use cases. The one that I like the most is the drone footage, just because you can send that video across a Wi-Fi connection or satellite connection, and you're able to pick that up and you're able to see it real time. So let's go ahead and get into the little details about NDI. Let's look at how it finds sources. So let's say that you have one camera that is running, and that camera is just booting up. So what I'm going to show you is that, in effect, a camera booting up. How is that going to advertise itself on the network? Then what we're going to do is we're going to see this. This is on a local LAN, local area network, meaning I have a cable, I have a switch, it's in my office. This is how it works on the LAN, and then we're going to be moving to Azure Cloud Services, and I'm going to show you how it works on Azure Cloud Services. The reason it's a little bit different is because on Azure, or even cloud providers for that matter, they don't allow you to have multicast or broadcast natively. So you have to use other resources, you have to use other methods to make it work. So let's get to it. All right, first things first. This is a client booting up on the local network. And what we have here is we have a DHCP request. As you can see, it's just booting up. DHCP discovers, DHCP request. This is device booting up, just going out there looking for an IP address. At the same time, you can see that it's sending messages out to a multicast address, which is IGMP. The one that I want to point out is this right here. It's MDNS, multicast DNS. This IP address right here, the 224.0.0.251, is the one that is being used for multicast DNS, or multicast domain name service. This is the way that an NDI device announces itself, and this is how it's able to find other sources as well on the network. The next thing you see is this LLMNR. When we click on it, it tells you that it's a link local multicast name resolution. Again, it's going to port 5355. Again, this is just how it's announcing itself. You can see that the name of the workstation in this case is London W10, or it's a London Windows 10 machine that is booting up. And so again, registration, this is NBNS, this is NetBIOS, so this is not part of the NDI. But what I want you to see is this MDNS. This is the standard process on how a client goes out there and announces itself, and also how it's able to find other NDI sources on the network. Now that you have seen how a client advertises itself on the local network, now we're going to move it to the cloud. Again, the cloud does not allow you to use multicast, and it does not allow you to use broadcast. So even if you're on the same VNet and Azure, even if you're on the same subnet, if you have two clients that are trying to advertise, they're not going to be able to see each other because there's no multicast. Let's go ahead and look at it from the portal. Okay, so what do I have here? In my design, I have two Windows workstations. One is called Test NDI VLC, which is running Windows, and the other one is called Test NDI FMD2, which is also running Windows. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to them, and I want to show you how it works in Azure. So here's Test NDI FMD2. This is the one that is going to be the receiving end. So I'm going to be opening OBS Studio. I installed OBS Studio, just a regular installation. I also added the NDI tools from ndi.tv. The reason you need those tools is because you need to be able to get those tools installed. There's also an OBS Studio plugin in order for you to do this. I'm not going to go through the installation of those, but you can just go and search for the OBS plugin, because I'm just showing you how this NDI works in Azure. So when you click on add, you can say add an NDI source. You say okay. Okay, so it's not giving you the VLC connection yet. So let's go ahead and open this up. This is the sending side. So I'm going to go ahead and open VLC. And what you have to do here is you go to Preferences, under Video, you have to tell it that you are going to be sending NDI video out. This is how you tell VLC. And audio, you tell it that you're going to be sending NDI audio out as well. So you click Save. Then you can open up a file. I already have a file here, which is a 2-minute timer bomb that I got. It's not even mine, just so you know. So here, it's already playing. It's not showing me anything, but let me go to OBS and see if I'm able to see it. I'm not able to see it yet. So again, if I click here and I click here, I don't see anything. This is Test NDI FMD2 itself. So I don't want that. I want this source here. So in Azure, there is no easy way to be able to do this with multicast. Remember, this is all multicast, because multicast is not allowed in Azure. So the only way that you're going to be able to get this to work is you're going to have what I have here, which is an NDI server. An NDI server is a Linux server that is going to be running the NDI discovery server. The NDI discovery server is something that what it's doing is centralizing that message, so it turns from a multicast, it turns into a unicast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a Linux server. This is going to be my discovery server. This is the one that is going to centralize the connection so that they turn from multicast to unicast, and I'm going to show you how I do that, and I'm going to show you how that is required in Azure. The beauty of this is that you're going to centralize that communication. You're going to tell the sender where that server is. You're going to tell the receiver where that sender is. So now you're pointing everybody to that centralized location. Now this server can be one server, but you can have multiple servers as well. And you can have an availability set, or you can have multiple servers that are doing this discovery, just in case for redundancy purposes. In this one, I'm just going to show you one server, and I'm going to show you how I install the software as well. Okay, my server is up and running. There's a discovery server here. This is it's running. It's in the same region, but it doesn't need to be. But as long as you can get to it. But having it in the same region is better because you don't have to you have to go across regions. So I'm going to click on the discovery server. I'm going to copy this IP address. I'm going to open a terminal. SSH. Okay, so we are on the discovery server. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my cheat sheet because I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to remember all this. So the first thing is the installation. I'm going to make this available for you in the description below as well. So the first thing is download the file. It's right there. Then the next thing is we're going to untar it. So sudo tar minus xvzf installation file. Okay, now as you can see that creates an sh file. So now we're going to go ahead and execute it. It's all the licensing information. Do you agree? Yes. And it goes through the installation process. So the installation process is going to install that. So let's see. NDI. Okay. So now let's run it. So now we're going to run the service. Let's see. I can just copy this. Okay, no such directory, that's fine. Okay. Ah. So you have to remember where you put it. X bin, and it's right here. So the one that we want is x86. So this is where it installed it. So what we want to do is we just want to run that directory service, NDI directory-service. So when you run it, what it tells you is that it's running server on port 5959. So now we just look at the IP address of this server. So this is going to be the centralized server. The IP address is 10.1.0.7. So we can copy this. We can go to our servers. So in this case, we're going to open on the sending end. We're going to open up the NDI tools. We're going to go to Access Manager. And we're going to go to Advanced. We're going to use a discovery server, and we're going to, okay, so it's not going to give me the IP address. So let's look at it again, 10.1.0.7. Okay. So 10.1.0.7, and we're going to say okay, and we are going to do the same thing here. Access Manager, Advanced, Discovery Server, 10.1.0.7. Click OK, and minimize. And let's see. Do we need to close it? We might need to close OBS and open it again. And open VLC again. Media, open file. Let's play this again. And there it is. we are able to see the VLC now. So when we click on VLC and we click OK, so now we're getting the feed. That is the feed of the video. So we are able to send the video from this VLC file. It's giving me a black screen. That's because of the video, and I don't have a GPU or anything like that. So there's other issues with VLC, but the idea is that it's sending you the video here and you're able to receive that video. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that now, because I have a discovery server, that server is the one that is combining everything and is making everything talk to each other. And this means that even if I have another tenant in another location, another region, all I need to do is create that inter-tenant VNet peering connection. Once I create that inter-tenant VNet peering connection, I'm able to send unicast across, and all I need to do is do exactly the same thing what I just did. You just specify the discovery server. That discovery server is gonna tie everything together. As you can see, it's not very difficult to do this. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's helpful to you. If you have any comments, please leave them in the comments down below. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them also in the comments down below. And until next time, take care.